Well, everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Body from Stephen King's different seasons. And most people would probably know the story as Stand By Me, which is the 80s film from director Rob Reiner. And this is a story about four friends who go off into the wilderness to find a dead body that they hear about. And while they're trying to do this, there's some bullies in town, including some older siblings, that are also trying to find this body. And what I love about this story is that it's an inspiring and meaningful coming-of-age story. You have a lot of great moments between these friends and their interactions. You have great stories that they tell each other. You have, especially because of the film, these iconic moments of like running from a train and dealing with leeches and all those kinds of things. You have those very specific and interesting elements that get added to this journey. And you have great interactions between these characters, and you really care about their friendship and all of that. And you get a lot of all of that from the film Stand By Me, which I haven't watched in a while, but I've watched quite a few times growing up. And what makes the story, The Body, different from Stephen King's perspective is, like, in the film, you have Rob Reiner making this film. Rob Reiner isn't going to be the kind of person that, like, hits really dark and deep. Stephen King is. And what impresses me about this story is it has all of those inspiring and engaging and interesting and fun coming-of-age elements, but there's always a darker edge to it. And you experience and read through abuse, all kinds of very violent and abusive interactions between parents and their children, these bullies and these kids. And The Body doesn't pull punches, and I feel like that's something that adds some layers and poignancy to this story, because there are many people that deal with these kinds of things, and like, I have to say, most of the bullying I dealt with growing up was verbal, also because I was considerably larger than most of the kids trying to bully me, so like that really didn't turn into much of anything. But this gets violent, it gets intense, and I feel like that is extremely impactful and really sheds a light on some horrible things that many children deal with growing up in their adolescent ages. And the story also really captures this time period so well. The details that Stephen King pulls in really paints a picture of this time period and the essence of this story. And without that, I don't know if it works as well. And, you know, Stephen King is such a great writer, such a great storyteller. And this story is told in such an impactful way, with so many layers, and tonally balancing a lot of different things. And, you know, it tells an important story with great themes. It paints a picture of adolescence and childhood friendships and what could happen to them. And, you know, there's bits of what happened later in the film Stand By Me, but this book doesn't shy away from some tragic ends to some of these characters and the realities of, like, this is life, and sometimes your bully is going to keep living on and keep going on, and sometimes your friends don't make it. And there's some dark elements to this story. There's also very emotional and meaningful elements. It's relatable. It's compelling. And this is such a great little novella that tells an impactful and relatable story that so many of us can connect to, because we've all grown up. As an adult, we're there. We've gone through things like this. And I think the capturing of like this darker edge that this story has is more meaningful and poignant, because many of us have been through some of those darker times too. And this is, I feel like, quintessential coming of age young adult story that I think is definitely worth checking out. But those are my thoughts on The Body. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some books. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.